Welcome to another GTA Online video. In this one we'll be looking at the new vehicle that was released, which is like an off-roading truck. It is pretty quick, it is pretty weird looking. This ranges from 1.4 million to 1.8, as 1.4 is a trade-in price if you do 10 races in Cayo Perico. This also comes with a hat, or maybe it's random, but I got a hat that came with this thing. Haven't looked at it, don't think it's really the coolest looking thing. I'm gonna imagine it's not. Either way, the truck thing is the most important thing here that we're looking at and what we're gonna really be doing our review on. Now, obviously it has the basic upgrades with your armor, your brakes, engine, everything else like that. However, the bumpers and everything else are pretty unique, I guess. There's 19 available options for the front bumper, all ranging from being really identical. It just changes slightly from maybe having a different layout on it, a different color scheme, other things like that. The rear bumper, only two other choices besides stock. The doors, the big issue with the doors is obviously it's not going to help you a lot with bullets coming at you from the side. So the only ones that could really help you, I guess, are going to be the stock version. But if you don't want those and you just want it to look a little bit nicer, obviously you're going to change that for it. The grill is just going to be the under part of it. Livery, I like this one. It has some pretty good choices to it, better than a lot of other vehicles in the game. So when it comes to livery and comes to you customizing it, this one does have a good range of it in order to kind of mess with the colors and make it look as cool as you can. I do like this white and blue stripe thing, just to outline everything or border everything. It's really nice looking. Even this racing thing, even though it's simple, the 6 on the spoiler, everything else like that, pretty nice. And then obviously there's the one I have. The big problem with this thing that I will show you here right now, when I hit crew color, you can see that it's that top part. You're going to think secondary color is maybe either the poles or that bottom part. It's the poles, or really the wiring around it, tube-like around it. That part that I'm hovering over right now, you can't paint that at all. It's going to stay that color, and even with matte black, metallic black, classic black, no other color is going to match that perfectly. So if I took this livery off, it's going to show it being really offset, and you're really going to be able to notice it once this livery is off. So with it being on, with that white line kind of being in the way of it, you can't really notice it. But now that I took it off, you can see that there is a huge contrast in the type of shade of black that is applied to this vehicle from the top to the bottom. Now, why did Rockstar do this? I have no idea. I think it's the dumbest thing. Why can't you paint the underbody? No idea. But that's how it is. The livery can not go on the bottom either, so everything's at the top. That's gonna have to stay black, but thankfully it's black and not a weird color, or else this would definitely not look good at all. And you can get snorkels, different seats. Seats are really plain. The snorkels, I mean, I don't think they really do anything. It's not there for anything. The transmission, turbo, suspension, the basics again. The exhaust, everything is going to focus down on that little corner that I'm looking at, or hovering over the mouse. Then they have the external exhaust, one that goes up top, like in the picture that they would post on their Instagram, as well as I believe it's in the loading screen as well. And then the spoilers are a little bit weird. With this livery on, you can only do the inside when it comes to color. When you see, if I switch here to carbon here soon, you're going to see that it's only going to be in the inside and not the outside. So the livery kind of goes over it. It is a weird spoiler. If you take it off, it's just going to be the bars. So it's whatever you like. I don't think it really does much. I guess it makes it seem more of a truck. I don't know. The trunk options are okay. The performance upgrade obviously doesn't give an actual performance upgrade. To me, it just looks a bit weird just because of the empty space behind it. I wish they would have done something with that, but you can only get what you want. They do have the other option of performance upgrade with the wheel and cage. I don't think that looks the greatest either. I like that blue livery in the back, so I wanted to keep that up there, the sort of bumper trunk-ish thing. So I just kept it plain and normal with just the bars in the back. I think it looks the cleanest out of everything else. Alright, when it comes to speed and off-road, which I will show here later on in the video, it does perform very well, especially in off-roading. I'm kind of surprised by it just because I saw on Instagram there's a lot of people trashing it, really. So I was trying to see what they were so mad about or why they disliked this so much. I haven't seen a reason why yet, but it is really good on off-roading. So if you want a vehicle either just to have fun with, I mean, obviously there's some vehicles in the game you can jump up and do whatever, but this one is really fun with going off-roading. Now there's one thing I want to show you here, and going up against this wall, once I start driving, you can see that all 4 wheels are spinning. So this is 4-wheel drive, which is definitely going to help it with being off-road. So that's just kind of prove that it is 4-wheel drive, because some could say that it is 4-wheel drive in the description on the sites and it not be. and some could say they're not. And if you test it and they are, then you have a car that's for some reason four-wheel drive. Now, obviously, I'm not showing the best examples of off-roading. I mean, I went on the nearest hill that's, kind of flat at the top here, but you'll see later on with separate clips in the video that I do show some more off-roading things and some more just straight on speed when it comes to this thing. Now, before I get into the pros and cons, I do want to say I quite enjoy this vehicle. I've had it for a little bit, wanted to get used to it before I made a video on it, and I can say I've enjoyed it. It is a fun vehicle. Not only does it sound great in my opinion, but it also performs well. It's easy to handle. Obviously, on keyboard and mouse it's hard to kind of control it in the air. It's a lot better when you're on a controller, so I still have to get used to that sort of thing, which is why I keep crashing it. The big downside too that I'll show here in the clip is the hood. The hood comes off very, very easily. I don't know why it does. I have no idea. But you see here in a later video, I think I just dropped down from a huge fall on 4 wheels and the hood just popped off. Don't know why it's so fragile when it comes to the hood. Some vehicles are like that, some vehicles aren't. So that is the one big downside I see with this vehicle, as well as there not being the best customization options there are. And with recording this video and the hood popping off like I figured it would, I didn't notice for the first time really that they put detail in an engine. Besides it being a Benny's vehicle or something that you're actually modifying the engine for, they actually did a pretty good job detailing this vehicle. I mean, they have the intake right there, they have the engine right there, the V8, and if you look here on the side, you can see that they have all the V8 exhaust going out. So that is really, really cool. I think that's the first time they put detail into an engine. I can think of plenty of cars that you just flip the underside of it and you open the hood and there's just really no graphics to the engine. There's not really an engine there. It's kind of just a black square. So to see them put this amount of detail into the engine, it is really cool to see. So even when the hood does pop off, even though it makes your truck look ridiculous and the front looks just stupid, at least there's some detail in the engine that you can appreciate when it is off, which is probably going to be 90% of the time. Alright, to start off this list of the pros and cons that I think you should look at when it comes to buying this vehicle in GTA Online. Obviously, to some people, the con could be getting the trade price or the price in general. I'm not a huge racing guy, so when it comes to GTA Online, when I saw that the trade price is because of racing, I definitely didn't want to do it. I didn't care to do it. I didn't care to do 10 races in Cayo Perico. I do not care. I don't like the races in GTA Online. I don't find it fun, maybe unless I'm with friends, but besides that, it's just not really that entertaining to me. I'd rather just do some stuff in free mode. So that is a con to me. I don't know if it would be to you. I ended up buying it for the 1.8 just because I don't like doing that type of stuff. But again, if you like doing races, maybe that's even a pro. Maybe that's a benefit that, look, I had to do something I like in order to get the trade price, which is better than probably doing a lot of sell missions. So either way, that could be looked at in the both column, I guess. To me, it's going to be in the con, so I'm just going to leave it there at the con column. Now, price-wise in general, do I think it's too overpriced? Not really. I think for what it does, what it's capable of doing, and the customizations, everything else like that, with it being really quick and off-roading, which is something you don't really get a lot in this game, that is definitely a benefit and is something that I enjoy myself. So I do think this is priced pretty well. Obviously, you can make a lot of money in GTA Online fairly quickly, especially with them kind of making fun of the real world situation with inflation. So them being able to give you kind of a bonus in all these other sorts of businesses and giving you a higher price to sell out on. Not only is it funny, but it's also helpful. So this is making it more realistic in order to get this vehicle in the game. With me, it was fairly easy to get this money, so it's not really a huge struggle for me. So I'm going to put that in a pro with the price range on this. Obviously, another pro that I mentioned in it is it having the speed for what it is, as well as it being as good as it is on off-roading. And of course, with it being good at off-roading, a main thing you need with it is control. With it also being four-wheel drive, it does have good control. Even though I kind of show it off as it has no control because I suck at driving in this game, it did have a lot of control when it comes to off-roading. If I wanted to go somewhere, it would go that direction pretty easily. But when I try with any other vehicle, it's just going to spin out. It's going to go in a separate direction. It doesn't really make sense. So for it being able to have control on these tough terrains, these off-roading terrains, it's really nice to have that, especially to make a shortcut or to just have fun driving somewhere. So just being on the same road and just maneuvering around cars, which isn't really a fun thing to do. So now with speed, the off-roading capability, control, and price out of the way for pros, the big con with this is customization. The only reason I say this is because of the color scheme that you can do. Liveries are amazing looking. I love all the liveries. It was kind of tough choosing this one. It just had more of my color in it, and with it going off of the other ones, I tried my crew color with a white lining. It didn't really work out well, or I didn't really like it as well as I did just plain black everything and then just this livery. The downside is that the second part, or the lower part of this vehicle, you cannot change the color of, and not only can you not change the color of it, but it does not match any color of black or gray in metallic, in matte, in classic. So it doesn't really make sense how it's that color or why it is. So that is why it's going to be on a con, just because of that sole reason itself. Now another con that you probably have noticed already, or could just see by the picture on Southern San Andreas, was that it's basically asking you to get shot at. There is no cover whatsoever in that vehicle. Not only is there no cover in the doors, I mean, maybe if you kept the original ones, but again, maybe just a little bit. But with any other door, you can basically get shot through it. You can get shot through every single direction on this vehicle, even if you customize it to the point where the trunk has a tire above it, so it's kind of hard to shoot from the back, and you keep the original doors on it to help you from a few bullets. You can still get shot very easily in this thing. And then obviously it's not explosion proof or anything, so there's not another benefit to that like there is when it comes to the Kuruma, where it's completely bulletproof but it can't take any explosives. So that's going to be a con for this. I believe I have everything wrapped up with that. The speed is good, the off-roading capability is good, the handling is good. I enjoy driving this vehicle for the first time that I have with a lot of other vehicles. So overall, you could take this however you want, but in my opinion, I do recommend getting this vehicle. Not only is it fun to drive, but it's also probably going to be useful in some situations where you have to either drive over some things, go off-roading, and either you're not allowed to take a weaponized vehicle that has boosts or anything else like that, or you just for once don't want to kind of feel like you're cheating your way through. So this is a fun vehicle to have. I do recommend getting it if you have the money to do so. If not, obviously do it on businesses first. But overall, try to keep this vehicle in mind. I think it is a very good vehicle, and it was a good addition to this update. Alright, that is the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like this, there will be a playlist of GTA 5 videos to the top right, as well as my most recent upload to the bottom right, and to the bottom left will be the recommended video that YouTube thinks you will like. And then in the middle will be the subscribe button. If you enjoy this content and want to see more, feel free to subscribe. This does help support me, as well as show me that people like this type of content, and I can produce some more content like this in order for you to be entertained, but also to be fed some information that you may not want to use on your own when it comes to buying this vehicle and testing it out yourself, wasting a lot of money in the game. And then you have me, who's going to waste this money and risk the fact of it being good or bad. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.